You open your eyes to the dim light of dawn, a pale blue that spills slowly across the mouth of the cave. The air is cold, sharper than you expected, filled with the scent of damp stone and the faint smoke of last night's fire. You lie still for a moment, wrapped in a heavy pelt of fur, listening to the quiet breathing of those around you. The others are still asleep. Small bundles of warmth in the vast, dark chamber. The cave is large enough to hold echoes. When someone stirs, the sound bounces softly from wall to wall, mingling with the drip of water somewhere deeper within. You stretch carefully, not wanting to wake anyone yet. The world outside will be waiting soon enough. You rise slowly, your bare feet pressing into the cool dust of the floor. The embers near the fire glow faintly, pulsing like tired hearts. You crouch beside them, feeding them a few thin sticks and a wisp of dried grass. Smoke curls up and vanishes into the dimness above. With time and breath, a small flame stirs to life again. It casts orange light over the walls, and on them you see the faint outlines of painted shapes. Animals, hands, marks made long before you. You step closer, tracing the shapes with your eyes. A bison, its body curved with motion. The prints of palms pressed in ochre, fingers splayed. They seem alive in the flicker of the fire. You don't fully understand why they are there, only that they are part of something old, something that connects you to those who came before. You are one among many, and the earth remembers. Outside, the world is awakening. The wind moves through the trees, stirring frost from their branches. Far below the ridge, mist curls across the valley floor. The great plain beyond is wide and silent, dotted with dark shapes, herds of animals grazing in the pale light. You can smell them even from here, carried on the wind, musk, earth, and life. You wrap the fur tighter around your shoulders and step outside. The ground is cold underfoot, the grass stiff with frost. Your breath hangs in the air. Behind you, the first murmurs of the waking tribe begin. Soft voices, the shuffle of feet, the cry of a child. The day begins not with words, but with movement, with the quiet rhythm of living. Someone tends to the fire. Someone else sharpens stone tools, the scrape of flint against flint echoing faintly. A woman crushes dried roots with a stone, mixing them with water to make paste for healing. A child runs to the cave mouth to look at the sky. It is pale now, the sun still hidden behind the hills, but the promise of warmth lies ahead. You step further from the cave, scanning the horizon. You know this land well, the narrow trail that winds through the trees, the place where the stream breaks through rock, the flat field where herds sometimes pass. It's all familiar, yet it is never the same. The world shifts each day, winds change, animals move, rivers rise or dry. You have learned to notice everything. To survive, you must. By the time the sun crests the ridge, light spills golden over the valley. The others are readying themselves. Spears are checked, points tied tight with sinew. Stone knives are tucked into belts made of hide. The hunters will leave soon, following the tracks of reindeer that passed 2 nights ago. You will go with them, as you have many times before. Before leaving, you share a small meal, dried meat, bitter roots, and a handful of berries stored in the cold. The taste is plain, but the warmth it brings is enough. A few soft words are spoken, brief but full of meaning. There are no long speeches, no unnecessary sounds. You all know what must be done. The forest greets you with silence and breath. Trees rise like pillars, their bark rough and dark. The ground below covered in fallen needles. The air smells of pine and snow. Your feet move quietly, practiced in silence. You walk in a line, spaced apart, eyes searching for signs. A broken twig, a print in the mud, a tuft of fur caught on bark. Hours pass without a word. The world feels vast and endless. You hear birds above, the soft crunch of snow beneath your feet, and sometimes the distant call of an animal, deep and resonant. Every sound carries meaning. Every moment demands attention. By midday, you find what you're looking for, a set of tracks near a frozen stream. Reindeer, several of them moving north. You kneel beside the prints, pressing your fingers into the shallow impressions, fresh, less than a few hours old. You gesture to the others, and the group moves forward again. The hunt is patient work. You do not chase. You follow, carefully, steadily. The animals will tire long before you do. Your body is made for this kind of movement, for distance, for persistence. Step by step, hour by hour, you close the distance. The sun dips low when you finally see them. A herd, grazing at the edge of a clearing, their breaths white in the cold air. The group spreads out. Everyone knows their place. A signal is given in a sharp gesture, and the air stills. Then the sudden rush. The thud of feet, the sound of shouts, the snap of branches. The herd bolts, confusion and fear scattering them. One falls behind, limping, panicked. That is your moment. Spears fly through the air. One strikes true. The animal stumbles, collapses. The hunt ends in heavy breathing, in the steaming breath of life leaving flesh. There is no cheer, no celebration, only quiet work. You kneel beside the fallen creature, placing your hand gently on its neck. A moment of respect, gratitude perhaps, for the food, the warmth, the tools its body will provide. Then the knives come out. The group works together, swiftly and carefully dividing the task. Skin, meat, bone, each piece has its use. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is taken for granted. By the time you return to the cave, darkness is already deepening. Smoke from the fires drifts upward into the night. The stars above are bright, countless. The moon hangs low and wide, casting silver light over the world. Inside, warmth greets you. The fire crackles, painting the walls with light. Others gather close as the hunters enter. The smell of roasted meat soon fills the air. There is talk, low voices sharing the story of the hunt. Hands gesture, eyes gleam. Children listen wide-eyed. You eat slowly, each bite heavy with satisfaction. Later, as the night deepens, the stories fade into silence. The cave settles again into stillness, only the faint pop of firewood breaking the quiet. You lie close to the warmth, your body weary but calm. The air outside hums with the sound of wind over stone. You listen to it, eyes half closed. Somewhere out there in the dark, the world continues. Wolves hunt, rivers flow, and stars shift slowly overhead. You think of tomorrow, of new paths to follow, new signs to read. But that thought drifts away, like smoke as sleep comes gently to you. The fire's glow flickers on the painted walls. Shapes of animals seem to move, running, breathing, living, as if they too remember. And you, one small being in the vastness of time, drift into dreams, cradled by the same earth your ancestors walked before you. The next morning comes quietly, as if the sky itself hesitates to disturb your rest. You wake to the faint hum of insects, the breath of wind moving across the valley, and the smell of smoke from the embers of last night's fire. Around you, others begin to stir, slow, unhurried, still half in dreams. The fire is coaxed back to life, not with flint or steel, but by hands practiced in patience. Breakfast is simple. Roasted roots, a handful of dried berries, a few scraps of meat shared among the group. The children giggle as they steal bites, and the elders watch with quiet amusement. In this small circle of warmth, you feel something rare. The calm of belonging, of knowing your place in the endless rhythm of earth and sky. You step outside the shelter. The air feels clean, untouched. The grass sparkles with dew. You watch as the horizon burns orange, as if the sun is being born again. Every sunrise still feels new, even though your people have seen tens of thousands of them. Your task for the day is simple: gather. The forest waits. You walk barefoot, feeling every texture. The cool earth, the crackle of dry leaves, the sting of tiny stones. It is not discomfort. It is connection. Every step tells you something about the land. The trees whisper above. Birds scatter in bursts of color. Somewhere far off a river hums, your eternal companion. You find edible mushrooms, you dig for roots, and you check the traps set the night before. One holds a rabbit, still and warm. You whisper a quiet word of thanks, not to a god, but to life itself. Nearby, two children chase each other through the ferns, their laughter mixing with the forest's heartbeat. A young woman hums softly as she gathers herbs, songs that have no words, only rhythm. You realize that music was born here, in the quiet between the trees, in the echo of footsteps and the thump of hands against hollow logs. When noon comes, the sun burns high and heavy. The group rests under a great tree, its branches like arms stretched wide. You share water from a skin pouch. The taste of river and bark fills your mouth. The world is simple but full. There are no clocks, no walls, no concept of time as you once knew it. Life is measured in light and dark, in hunger and fullness, in the seasons that shape everything. You understand the stars not as distant suns, but as guides, old friends who return each night. In the distance, hunters appear. 3 of them, moving with the quiet precision of shadows. They carry long spears of polished wood tipped with stone. The hunt was good. They bring with them a small deer. There is no celebration, no boasting, only gratitude. The animal will feed everyone. Later, as evening falls, the tribe gathers around the fire again. The flames leap and dance, painting faces with gold and shadow. Someone begins to speak, not in words you know, but in a rhythm older than language. It's a story about the moon, about spirits in the mountains, about the first fire stolen from the sky. You listen, and the story becomes real, alive. For a moment you glimpse the truth of this ancient life. Story and survival are the same. To remember is to live. Children fall asleep against their mothers, and the men stare into the fire as if reading the future. You watch the sparks rise into the night, tiny lights, like souls returning to the stars. The fire cracks, a log falls. The night deepens. You lie down on a bed of grass and skins. The smell of smoke lingers in your hair. Above you, the Milky Way stretches endlessly, brighter, clearer than any night sky you've ever known in your modern world. There are no city lights, no noise, no weight of tomorrow, only this, silence, stars, breath. In your dreams you drift through the valley, following the river's silver thread. You see mammoths moving across the plains, slow and noble. You see wolves running in packs, their eyes bright with hunger and intelligence. You see your people building fires, laughing, shaping tools from stone. You see the first signs of art, handprints on cave walls, red ochre smeared into stories. You awaken before dawn. The world is still blue and cold. You sit up, wrap a fur around your shoulders, and breathe in the chill. You feel your heartbeat slow and strong. You are alive just as they were. You realize something profound, that every comfort you know today, every word, every city, every dream began here, in the breath of those who came before you. They were not so different from you. Their hopes were smaller, perhaps, but just as bright. You stand, stretch, and walk toward the river. Mist rises from the surface, glowing in the first light of day. The water is freezing, but you cup it in your hands anyway and drink. It tastes like earth, like life. When you look at your reflection, you barely recognize it, not because your face has changed, but because you finally see it as part of something much older. A single thread in the endless weave of humanity. You walk back to the camp. Smoke rises. The others begin to wake. The fire is stirred. The first voices of the day murmur. A child laughs. A new sun climbs the horizon, and for a moment, as the light warms your skin, you understand what it truly meant to live, not just to exist, but to belong to the rhythm of the world itself. You breathe deeply. The wind carries the scent of grass and ash. The earth feels steady beneath your feet. You close your eyes and drift, not into sleep, but into the quiet knowledge that this ancient, fragile world still lives within you. The fire crackles one last time. The valley hums. The story of humankind continues, written not in books, but in the dust, the stars, and the hearts of those who remember. The seasons shift. The valley that once shimmered with green now fades into shades of gold and smoke. The air grows dry, the river thinner. You can feel the rhythm of the earth changing, not through calendars or numbers, but through your bones. Each morning begins with the same ritual. The stirring of the fire, the checking of traps, the quiet hum of the waking forest. Yet beneath that routine, you sense something ancient stirring, a wisdom, or perhaps just awareness, that life is both fragile and endless. One day, you wake before the others. The dawn is pale, soft, almost silent. Mist moves low across the grass, curling around your feet like smoke. The fire is burned down to black embers. You step outside the shelter and for a moment you feel completely alone, but not lonely. The earth hums beneath your bare feet. You breathe it in. You are part of it. You wander down toward the river. Its banks are cracked from the dry season, but the water still runs, whispering to itself. You kneel and drink. The cold stings your teeth, and you smile without knowing why. Behind you, the first sounds of morning, footsteps, a baby's cry, the cough of an old man, laughter. You return and find your people beginning their day. One of the women, old and thin as driftwood, is shaping something from clay, a small bowl, the first you've ever seen. She smooths it with her hands, her fingers patient, reverent. The clay will dry by the fire, and soon water will be stored inside it. It feels like magic, though she doesn't call it that. It is simply life adapting. Later that day, a storm gathers far beyond the horizon. The wind carries the scent of rain. You can feel electricity in the air, the sharp edge of weather about to break. The tribe prepares. Hides are tied down, firewood covered, food stored high away from the flood paths. You work together without words. Each person knows what to do, as if born already knowing. When the first thunder rolls, the children laugh. When lightning splits the sky, they fall silent in awe. Rain comes suddenly, fierce, loud, alive. It hammers the ground, fills the air with the smell of wet earth. The world seems reborn. You stand beneath a rock ledge, watching sheets of silver pour across the valley. The river roars, overflowing. The sky flashes again and again, as if the gods are striking stone upon stone. When it's over, everything glows. The air is cool and clean. The people emerge from shelters and walk barefoot through the mud. A child finds a snail and holds it like a jewel. Someone laughs. You realize that even the smallest things can feel sacred. Days pass. The rains end. The forest bursts back into life, leaves brighter, fruits heavier, air thick with the hum of insects. You notice patterns now. How birds vanish before a storm, how the wind changes before nightfall, how animals move in silence when danger is near. The world speaks if you listen. One afternoon, you walk with another, a companion whose name doesn't matter because words are not how you know each other. You share glances, gestures, the rhythm of breath. The two of you walk through tall grass toward a hill where the horizon opens wide. You watch mammoths move in the distance, slow, vast shapes against the light. There's no need to speak of love, yet you feel it. It is not romantic as in the modern world. It is quieter, simpler, like standing together in the wind and knowing you belong. As the moon rises, silver and full, the tribe gathers again. The storyteller speaks. His voice is low, rough from age. He tells of ancestors who turned into stars, of great fires that gave birth to light, of hunters who spoke with spirits in dreams. The children listen wide-eyed, their imaginations brighter than the flames. You realize that story is not entertainment here. It is memory. It is survival. Without stories, the tribe would forget who they are, where they came from, why they still walk this land. That night, a child is born. The screams of the mother fill the dark, sharp and raw. The women surround her, calming, guiding. Outside, men wait in silence, listening. Then a cry thin and new. Life begins again. The camp exhales as one. The elder woman lifts the newborn toward the sky, whispering to the stars, words you don't understand, but you feel them in your heart. Gratitude, continuation. The child's father brings a gift, a stone, smooth and black, from the river. It will be tied around the baby's wrist as protection. The baby sleeps, the mother weeps, and the world feels whole again. Days later, the tribe moves, following the animals, the seasons, the food. You travel together through valleys and across plains. Sometimes the land is kind, full of berries, cool streams, and sheltering trees. Sometimes it is cruel. Hot winds, empty ground, hunger. But always you move. Always forward. At night you sleep close to the fire, wrapped in furs, listening to wolves howl from far away. The sound doesn't frighten you. It comforts you. You understand that they are like you, hunting, surviving, protecting their own. You respect them. One night the moon hides and the darkness is complete. A shadow moves beyond the firelight. Spears are gripped tightly. Hearts pound. The night feels endless. But when dawn comes, there is no danger. Only tracks, deep and heavy. A bear had wandered close, curious. The tribe relaxes. Someone laughs. Fear dissolves into relief. Life goes on. Weeks later, you find shelter in a cave at the edge of the mountains. Inside, the walls are smooth and cold. One of the young men begins to draw. Lines of red and black made from crushed stone mixed with fat. He paints animals, bison, deer, horses, mammoths. They move as if alive in the flicker of torchlight. No one calls him an artist. He is simply remembering. The drawings are messages, not to be seen by others, but to keep the spirits close, to honor what feeds and sustains you. The air smells of smoke and stone. You watch, transfixed, feeling something stir deep inside, the first sense of beauty. Later the tribe sings. Voices rise and fall with the crackle of flames. It's not music as you know it, it's heartbeat, echo, breath. You close your eyes. The rhythm carries you. Outside, the wind howls through the valley. The fire's glow flickers on the cave walls. For a brief moment you feel the presence of something greater, not gods, not ghosts, but the immense quiet truth that you are alive, that the earth itself holds you like a parent. Time passes. Days melt into nights, nights into seasons. You learn the language of silence, the meaning of patience. You realize that no one owns anything, not the sky, not the land, not even the fire. Everything is shared, borrowed, returned. One morning, a hunter does not return. The tribe waits 3 days. On the 4th, his spear is found broken near a ravine. The elder woman sits by the fire that night, humming softly. The tribe does not wail. They simply remember. His name will live in the next story, carried in whispers to the children. In this world, death is not an ending. It is a continuation in the song of others. You feel the ache of loss, yet it doesn't crush you. Life and death flow together, inseparable, natural. Then comes the first snow. It falls softly, silently, covering everything in white. The air is cold and sharp, and your breath rises like smoke. The world slows. Food grows scarce. Fires burn constantly. You huddle close, sharing warmth, stories, laughter. Through hardship, you discover something deeper. Compassion. A mother gives her food to another's child. A hunter breaks his share to feed the elders. Survival is not about strength alone. It's about kindness. The months of cold pass slowly. Then one morning you wake to the sound of melting. Drops of water falling from the trees, trickling down rocks. The first green shoots appear through the snow. Spring returns. Life begins again. You step outside the shelter, stretch your arms to the sun, and feel it on your face. It's as if the world is breathing again, and you with it. You realize that everything, the fire, the storms, the fear, the laughter, has shaped you. You are not a visitor in this world. You are part of it. You carry it inside you, even as you dream of tomorrow. And somewhere deep in your mind, as you drift towards sleep, you know that 50,000 years later a part of you still remembers. The smell of smoke, the warmth of the fire, the sound of rain on skin, the heartbeat of the earth. The story of humankind never truly ended. It simply changed its form. But its rhythm, its breath, still lives in you. Night settles softly over the plain. You lie close to the fire, half wrapped in a fur of auroch hide. The flames breathe and twist, their light sliding over faces now relaxed, some already dreaming. The day has been long, a day of gathering roots, drying meat, teaching the young ones how to chip stone flakes without breaking them. Now comes the hour when silence speaks. You look at the stars, the same ones that will one day be named by people you will never meet. You do not know their names, only their patterns, their steady presence above the moving earth. They make you feel small but not afraid. You think of your father's voice telling you long ago, "The stars are the eyes of those who walked before us." When you can't find your path, look up. Tonight you do. And you think, maybe one day, far away in time, someone will look up at these same eyes in the dark and wonder about you. about who you were, what you dreamed of, what your world smelled and sounded like. The wind hums through the tall grass. You hear a wolf's distant call, not near, not threatening, just a voice marking its place. One of the children stirs and murmurs in sleep. The fire pops softly. Sparks rise and vanish into the night. You remember when you were a child, afraid of the dark. You used to think the night was a giant mouth, ready to swallow everything. But then your mother took your hand and said, "The dark is not an enemy. It hides what sleeps. It protects what grows." And now, lying here, you feel it. The darkness not as emptiness, but as a kind of shelter. A vast, cool blanket stretched over the earth. Tomorrow you'll travel. The tribe has decided to follow the herds north, where the grass grows higher and the rivers are not yet frozen. It will take many days. There will be danger, swollen rivers, sudden storms, maybe strangers. But this is what life has always been: to move, to search, to listen, to wake each morning and begin again. You imagine walking through unknown valleys, seeing smoke from faraway fires. You think of faces you might meet, others like you but different. Maybe you'll trade shells or meat or songs. Maybe you'll fight. Maybe you'll fall in love. The future is wide like the sky. A spark lands near your hand. You brush it away gently. Across the fire, an elder begins to hum. A low, rhythmic tune, almost like the heartbeat of the earth. Soon others join in, softly. The song is old. No one remembers when it was first sung. It has no words anymore, just sounds that carry memory. You hum too. The rhythm fills you, the pulse of your people, your ancestors, the rivers, the mountains. You feel that strange, deep knowing that you are part of something that doesn't end when you do. When the song fades, silence returns. But it's full, not empty. You turn to the side, watching the glow on the sleeping faces. The firelight paints them gold and red. Your sister, the hunter who once saved your life, the elder whose laughter you can recognize even in a storm. These are your people, your world. Your heartbeat, the sky begins to pale. Dawn creeps slowly, brushing pink light over the hills. The air grows cool and new. You rise before the others, stretching, feeling the ache in your muscles, the weight of the spear in your hand. Another day waits. You walk a little away from the camp, toward the edge of the river. Mist floats over the water, soft as breath. You kneel and drink, the coldness waking you completely. Your reflection stares back. Not the face of a stranger, but of one more link in the chain. The bones of your face are your father's. Your eyes belong to your mother. And you wonder, whose will you pass them to? For a moment you think you hear something, a whisper, a sigh, maybe just the wind. But in it, there's a kind of promise that life will continue, that someone will remember, that your fire will not go out. When you return, the tribe is stirring. The women pack dried berries, the men sharpen tools. Children chase each other around the ashes of last night's fire. The air smells of smoke, river, and something new, the scent of movement, of roads that haven't been walked yet. By noon, you're walking again, under a high blue sky. The sun warms your shoulders. Your feet press into dust older than memory. Every step you take leaves a print that the wind will soon erase, but you don't mind. That's how it's always been. You're not here to be remembered by the earth. You're here to live with it. You pass the great stones near the valley's end, the ones that rise like teeth from the ground. The elders say spirits live inside them, listening. You stop and place your hand on one. It's cold, rough, ancient. You whisper quietly, "Keep us safe." Then you move on. As evening comes, the tribe finds a new resting place, a hollow sheltered by trees. The fire is lit again, and the circle of warmth grows. The same stars rise, the same breath of wind moves through the grass. The rhythm continues, as it always does. You lie down once more, your mind floating between wakefulness and dream. Somewhere inside you feel gratitude, not in words, but in the quiet understanding that life, even in its hardship, is beautiful. You think, maybe this is what it means to be human. To carry light through darkness, to walk knowing the road will end, but still keep walking, your eyes close. The last thing you see is the faint red glow of the embers. the heart of the tribe, pulsing softly in the dark. And as sleep takes you, the fire whispers its secret to the stars, that once here a soul lived and loved and dreamed beneath this endless sky. Close your eyes. Imagine the fire fading, the warmth of the ancient earth beneath you. The stars above are the same ones your ancestors once looked at. Feel the wind, the silence, the rhythm of a world untouched. You are part of that story, the same breath, the same life. Let your thoughts drift. Let your heartbeat slow and fall into the deep. Quiet sleep of those who walked this world long before us. Good night. Traveler of time, dream of firelight, rivers, and the endless sky. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let your soul rest in the next History for Sleep.